Yo, what's good, people? Welcome to the channel. My name is Clint. I specialize in producing music for TV and film, and I teach other producers how to do the same so you can make money with your music, so it's just not sitting on your computer doing nothing but just sitting there. That's whack. So today is part 4 of the Let's Talk Sync Strategy 2024. This is 4 out of 5. Drop some fire emojis if y'all been getting value out of this series this week. I want y'all to be prepared going into this new year. I want y'all to be focused going into this new year, and then I want y'all to start seeing some traction in the new year. Not just saying I want to get my music placed, I want to get it synced. Oh, this is a goal of mine. Like, let's take it from goal to like goal being met. Like, we're trying to get to the next phase. We just can't be in inspiration zone all year. We got to actually start taking action and making this stuff happen. So let me see what we got in the building, man. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what you do. I see April Ellington just became a channel member. Shout out to April. Appreciate it. So yeah, April's about to get mad access to like all the behind the scenes stuff that goes on. Definitely got a couple briefs that I'll be breaking down to the channel members. So if you're not a member, consider. The link is in the description. It's like a cost of a cup of coffee, depending on where you get your coffee from, a month. So it's a no-brainer. A Mill is in the building. A Mill hitting Mill streams this week. Aquila, what's good? Kevin Cheek, another member of Team Dope. What's good, bro? Captain Jahak. I know I'm butchering names already. What's good? I see the fire emojis. Everybody's enjoying the content. I love it. Jimmy Rhodes, my guy. What's good, bro? Good to see you in the building. Justin Abraham, what's up? Montreal, Canada in the building. DJ MVP, I see you. Super dope. I'm excited. I'm excited to dig into part 4 today. So let's do a quick recap. Over the past few days, we talked about deciding your target. That was part 1. Part 2 was deciding your target medium. Part 3 was seeking information. So I gave you guys some tips on like where to look to get insight and have a competitive edge over everybody else that's trying to break into sync, but they're too lazy to do the research and look for information. I think my kid is in his next room. I'm pretty sure he pooped. It stinks. So let's make this a quick one so my guy's not sitting in a dirty diaper for an hour. So we got lady producer in the building. What's good, fam? Let's see. Clint just got back from Columbus. Watched the Buckeyes beat that Spartan this weekend. Yo, let's go. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, we already knew. We already knew what was gonna go down with Michigan beat up on Michigan State the other week. Michigan State is just trash. Like, it's so embarrassingly trash. So, you know, I'm always happy when any team from Michigan loses as a Buckeye. You know, I have Michigan. I live with a Michigan fan in this house. They're talking smack already. You know, I have a side of my family who's Michigan fans. We're kind of split right down the middle on my dad's side. You know, so we're going to see. We're going to see. Next week, Ohio State, Michigan. Looking forward to it. Where's the legendary LW? She would have commented by now with this Buckeye talk. The legendary LW must not be in here because I'm sure, I'm positive a comment would have flown up with some Buckeye hateration going on. So yeah, so those are the things we covered today. We're gonna talk about building your team, and I'm excited about this one. I geek out when it comes to building teams and stuff. So it's gonna be fun. Let's see. Did you guys do your homework? Did you do your homework? Did you research some sync communities? Did you research some podcasts, some videos? Or if you didn't get a chance to do it yesterday, at least make note to do it over time, because it's not something you just do like one day and then stop. Like yesterday, we went in depth of just talking about how to maximize your time, you know, using the commute to work, using your lunch break, like whatever you got to do to, you know, just make the best use of your time so you can do that research and have a competitive edge. So it's something that's just going to be ongoing, but, you know, at least start. You know what I'm saying? Start getting in the habit of doing this stuff. Make it a part of your routine. As soon as you hop in the car, boom, I'm about to hop on a podcast and listen to some information on sync. I'm about to watch this YouTube video with this interview of this music supervisor who tells us exactly where she looks for music, how she likes to receive it, this, that, and the other. I've literally gotten placements doing this stuff. That's why I'm teaching you guys this stuff. Like the Napoli Ever After placement that happened a couple years ago, that was based purely off listening to a podcast. The music supervisor literally said the style of music he loves to specialize in and place, what he looks for when working with artists and placing artists, the name of his company, like everything. Like it was just the ultimate cheat code. And then I came upon some music that just worked. I'm like, yo, this is right up his alley. I had another relationship that I had started from working on somebody else's record years ago. They ended up sending me his contact information. So now I had his contact information coupled with the insight from the podcast that I listened to. So I pitched to him with all this information, and then he hit me back. He was like, oh, this is like right up my alley. And in my head, I'm like, I know, bro, because I've been low-key stalking you on podcast. But that's what it takes, you know what I'm saying? Like versus being that person that just doesn't do the research and they just like, yo, I just want somebody to place my music and just, boom, blast them with like 7 MP3s with some crazy titles, no subject, no body, none of that, you know what I mean? Like, whose email do you think he's going to open up? Is he going to open up mine after, you know, having insight and research and knowing that it's targeted towards what he does? Or is he going to open up the person who just didn't do any research and just blindly submitted, hoping that, you know, this music was just going to somehow get placed? I'm pretty sure he's going to pick the person that did their research. So I want you to be that person who did the research before submitting, so that you don't come back to me next year like, yeah, I tried, submitted to companies, nobody ever hit me back. It's because you didn't, you just went, you got excited. You got excited. You was like, I got some contacts, I'm about to start pitching immediately. You didn't do no type of research and you still got rejected. That's why I don't that's why I don't shoot off like a bunch of company names all the time, because people do that. They'll just go straight to the company, like, boom, here's 17 waves 4824 with like no prior research like on how to properly do it, and they still get rejected. You know what I mean? I don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you do the research prior to submitting. Get as much information as you can, because that is going to minimize the publisher rejection. All right, so today we're gonna talk about building your team. All right, so listen, you can do it all yourself if you want. In fact, I recommend you start off at least kind of doing everything yourself, because that's the best way to kind of learn the ins and outs of, you know, how this stuff works. It's going to be the easiest way for you to be able to lead others. You know what I mean? Like once you start creating a team and building a team around what you do, it's pointless to like not really have a full grasp on what you're doing and try and teach somebody else to do it. So if you start off learning how to do everything, it's going to make things a lot easier. The main thing with building a team is you have to know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. For example, if you're a producer, but you're not that good at playing keys, right? So you may have to partner up with somebody who can play keys, you know, maybe do a work for hire situation, get them to come to the studio, or they don't even have to come to the studio. It's 2023 or 2024. They can literally create a bunch of loops and just email them to you, get their permission, have them sign off, whatever you got to do. Now you have, you know, full sounding production, because you got somebody who plays keys, who knows chord structures, who knows melodies and things like that. to make your production sound fuller than if you just tried to do it your own. Your specialty may be drums. Like your drums probably slap, they hitting hard, all of that stuff. But when it comes to keys and melodies and things like that, you struggle. You got to know, okay, I'm not that good at this point. Either I can practice and get better, or I can leverage somebody else's skills and talents and just bring them in on it. Either give them a percentage, which would be dope, or you can do a work for hire, pay them a one-time fee, be done with it, and then you retain ownership of the entire master. So knowing what you're weak at, or you may be a producer, you're great at producing the music, you get the track, but now you want to dig into creating full songs, but you're trash at singing and rapping and things like that. So that's when you link up with some artists or some songwriters that can do that for you, so that you can focus on what you do best, which is cranking out tracks, and then you send those tracks to other writers who can write that stuff for you, right? So you need to start building a team of other musicians. Like if you're working on some stuff that requires live instrumentation, start looking for bass players, drummers, horn players, string players, like whatever that you can kind of have in a Rolodex, if you will, your contact phone book or whatever, to where it's just like, okay, if I need this stuff, I'm gonna make note that this person is excellent at this, and I'll just reach out to them when I need them, and make a list of the writers. You know what I'm saying? Like if I need somebody to write a certain style song, I know I can reach out to them. Even if maybe you're a producer, but you're not good at a certain style, and then you have a brief come across your table, maybe you can pass that off to another producer, or you guys can collab on that, so that you can still take advantage of that opportunity. You got to be able to have resources and not just rely solely on yourself to do everything, because you just may not be able to do everything. So that's a part of building your team. And then it goes beyond even just the creative. It also goes into like a lot of the administrative work that goes into sync as well. Like that's stuff that it takes time. You got to learn how to do it, so you know how it should be done. But then once you learn how to do it, then you gotta figure out how to outsource that stuff, and the best way to do that, the best way to teach them, and all that stuff. Which, by the way, the wait list for the Sync Producer Growth Pack 2.0, I'm gonna break down exactly how to do that. I'll show you exactly how I do it in my business and break it down step by step, so you can see it and be able to implement it. And it's not crazy. It doesn't take like a ton of money or anything to do it. You can do it very, very reasonable. I know some people even use like interns and things like that. There's services for that, to where you can just have people help in exchange for them getting the experience, and now you have somebody else on your team that can do like all of that boring stuff. Like metadata is boring. Like I'm just keep it 100. Like that's what gets your stuff placed, but it just takes up so much time. And again, we're trying to focus on the things that we do best, which is produce music or write songs or whatever. We're just trying to increase the output of the music, so we can increase the number of deals we get, so we can increase the number of placements we get, so we can increase the amount of royalties and money we make, and upfront sync fees and things like that. So like the only way to scale that stuff is to trim off the fat, trim off the stuff that's just taking up a bunch of time that anybody can do. Like literally anybody can open up a spreadsheet. Anybody can type in a website and type in some keywords, listen to the music, type in a description. You just got to train them how to do it. And I'll show you how to do it in this Growth Pack 2.0 that's coming out. So get on the wait list for that, clintproductions.com/Black Friday. Or if you're on Instagram, just comment wait list. Or if you're on YouTube, just go to the description and click the link. Makes it easy. So that's super important. That's like key to really scaling in anything really, but in sync specifically, that's been crucial for me, is just kind of having a team of people to help me out with certain things, certain projects. I can write, but it takes me longer to write. A lot of times it takes me longer to write than it does me to make music, like instrumentals and stuff like that. So sometimes I'll write, But I prefer not to unless I just feel like it. And I haven't felt like it often, so I just make the music and then just network with dope writers who understand the business of sync and that can turn around things way quicker than I could. Because listen, your boy will be missing all the deadlines trying to write all the songs, produce all the songs, mix and match. Like the girl off Coming to America, like she want to produce the movie, act in the movie, direct the movie, then she gonna make the music and put her music in the movie, and then promote her movie, and then create a movie theater to show her movie in. So like, don't be her. Don't be the girl off Coming to America trying to do everything. Do what you do best, delegate the rest. That was a bar. That was an unintentional bar. So that's what I mean when I say build your team. So start thinking about how you can build your team creatively. Start thinking about how you can build your team administratively to do that admin stuff. And that's going to allow you to be able to output like way faster than your competition, than that producer who's just like sitting in the room trying to do everything themselves. You may start off, it's okay if you're starting off doing everything yourself. You got to learn it. Like I said before, you can't teach anybody else until you do it yourself. So you got to learn it and you got to know it so you can explain it well. So learn the things, write down each and every step that you do when it comes to sync. Like when you do a deal with a company and they have like their process, right? So bouncing out stems and then labeling stems and then uploading stems to a certain site. Do they need certain paperwork? How do they input metadata? Like make note of each and every step so that you can have somebody else do those steps. You can have basically an SOP, standard operating procedure or something like that for them to do, and they'll just follow the steps. Anybody can do it. So that's how you kind of build a team around this. You want to connect with dependable people who are strong in areas where you are weak. Drop some fire emojis if this has been helpful so far. I'm going to take some questions, man. Drop some questions in the chat, and we're going to see what questions you guys have. Somebody, Rainbow Rise says, I have a question. Why is Doja Cat so good? I cannot answer that. I can't even answer it. Good question. So if you don't know the ins and outs of building a team, it's okay. As long as you're on the wait list, you're going to be fine. I'm going to help you. So don't stress out about it right now. I still want you to get started. Don't feel like you can't start if you don't have a team. You can still start. But just start looking towards the future to start delegating some of this stuff, because it will start to be a lot. After you sign like a handful of deals and you're getting the briefs coming in, you're trying to create more. You don't want to be the bottleneck in your own business in terms of productivity and the amount of placements you can get, because you're just trying to do everything. Pop Presents, what's good, man? Q Bello, what's good? Jimmy Rose says lots of great advice here. Thank you, man. I'm glad it helps. It's produced Jack, by the way. Jack, okay. What did I said I was like Jahak or something crazy. Jack. All right, I appreciate that, man. Let me see if we got some questions on the Instagram side. How long did it take you to get your first sync? Quick story. I can make it quick. Started the journey of trying to get synced, 2008? Didn't get my first sync until 2013. So what's that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's like 5 years. So it took me 5 years from like knowing about sync, like, oh, this is something I want to do, to actually getting the sync. That was like, roughly 5. Well, no, I take that back. Somebody told me about it in 2006, but I didn't start taking action and learning about it until 2008. So knew about it for 7 years, didn't start taking action, and didn't get that placement for another 5 years. I don't want it to take 5 years for you. To be honest with you, like, the cheat code is learning from somebody who already did it, so you can learn all the mistakes to avoid. Get straight to the information that works so that you can cut down the learning curve, cut down the mistakes, and get from point A to point B faster. That's why I hop on here all the time, giving all this content, because literally there's no need for it to take you 5 years to get your first sync placement. I have a lot of TV placement mastery students. Most of them, the majority of them, I want to say over 90% have gotten their first licensing deal in 3 months, because it's an accelerated program. And then students who've taken the Road to 10 Placements course, like I know some of them, they've gotten their first placement like within a year. Some of them gotten their first licensing deal, in a couple months, few months. Others, may take a couple years. Just depends. Like, everybody's different. You may figure out once you start submitting, like, oh, I have some things I got to work on and kind of tweak. So you got to give yourself time to improve and get better. But as long as you're constantly working on your craft, constantly, learning and improving, you're going to make progress if you're doing the right work. But you got to know what work you need to be doing in the first place. So Captain Jack says, what was the main thing that held you back from getting your first sync from 2008, 2013? That's a great question. Biggest thing that held me back was not realizing I was there to serve. It was all about me. I was like, yo, this is a style of music I love making. Like, I want them to place this. Entirely wrong approach. You will struggle if that's your approach. Instead, you got to start, like we said before, seek information, deciding your target medium, deciding your target genre by doing the research, listening to TV shows, listening to the music that's working. So I had to start doing that. I took a step back, was just like, yo, I love my neo soul, my R&B tracks and all that, but it's just not a lot of requests for this right now. So let me take a step back and see some of the other genres that I could do, because I could pretty much do like a lot of different things. So I had to take a step back and then figure out, okay, what do I want to focus on to break into this space? And that's what I did. So that held me back. Second thing that held me back was not having a clear structure or format for my music to optimize it to be placed. So editors, TV film editors, they're looking for certain edit points in tracks that they can use when they're placing this music on underneath scenes and things like that. So optimizing your music in a way that is easier for them is going to increase your placements. So that was another thing that held me back. Like, I didn't have a clear structure. Like, I couldn't go anywhere and just be like, yo, like, how exactly should I structure this instrumental for TV? You know what I mean? Everybody's just like, oh, just make great music. I was like, okay, what is that? So that's why I created How to Structure Instrumentals for TV course, because I was just like, yo, I'm a visual learner, right? Excuse me. So I need to see it. Like, if I can see it in session form, see someone create a track from scratch, from beginning to end, and structure it out, it clicks for me. It's just like, oh, I can do that. You know what I mean? You just need somebody to show you. So that's why I created How to Structure Instrumentals for TV course. By the way, if you guys didn't know, everything is 50% off. All my courses for producers are 50% off. Click the link in the description and use the code Black Friday 23. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio. But yeah, so I didn't know that, man. So for the longest, even when I first started reaching out to companies, I wasn't getting a lot of acceptances, or I wasn't getting yeses, and I didn't know why. It wasn't until I had one publisher. It was a small publishing company, or smaller. I had sent them some music. They liked the music, but he was just like, honestly, bro, he's like, you can cut these down. I was making full-blown songs, bro. It was like 3.5 minutes. I had elaborate bridges. Oh, listen, I was doing all types of things. But he was just like, yo, honestly, all I need is like 1.5 minutes and then throw like a sting ending. Because some of them, I was fading out tracks. That didn't work. So I cut my tracks down, made them 1.5 minutes. I put a sting ending on them. He signed them. Within the year, a bunch of tracks got placed on NAACP Image Awards, and then it kept getting placed for like the next 3-4 years of NAACP Image Awards. So that clicked. I was like, all right, bet this is what I do from now on. And then over time, I started to refine the structure, just based off the feedback I was getting from other publishers and things like that. Even to this day, like this year, I started implementing new things, and what I put in my music and things like that, just to further optimize it. Because you're constantly learning. So those are the two main things that held me back. That took, 5 years, outside of just not knowing exactly who to reach out to, what kind of companies to look for. That's a little more easier to find now these days. But, yeah, that's what took so long. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too long of a story. Brandon says, do you have any courses on mixing or know of any good mixing courses to improve in that area? Absolutely. I have a mixing course, Urban Mixing Made Simple. So if you click the link in the description, that course is 50% off too with the code. So use that. And I'm working on another course that has to do with mixing, but it's only going to be in the Sync Producer Growth Pack. So get on the wait list, because listen, the pack I'm putting together this year, I want it to be able to equip you with like everything you need to make quality music, right? So like I'm throwing everything I possibly can in here, including like some other resources that's just going to be, it's just going to give you a lot of insight. It's going to give you a lot of insight. It's going to show you what's possible, and show you that like, yo, like you can legit do this too. Like I'm not any more special than you. I had to put in just as much work as you all, have to put in. But the difference is I just didn't stop. I just kept putting the work in. So if you keep putting the work in, you can reach your goals. So, I do have that mixing course. And I have something else I'm going to throw in the Sync Producer Growth Pack 2.0 as well. That's dropping Black Friday. Glad this information is helpful. Drop some fire emojis if this is helpful. Make sure you hit the like button and share it with somebody who can use this. What created your initial interest in sync? Like, y'all asking the good questions, the background questions. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Sync is interesting, man, because like, I don't know, man. Me growing up, nobody, like, I never thought of it. Like, we watch TV all the time. We watch shows, we watch movies. Like, what show or movie or documentary or commercial have you watched and it literally had no music? It's very, very rare do you hear some visual content with no music. And just never thought, oh, like my music could be in those things. And it was one of those things that was, granted the time I grew up in, like this, nobody talked about sync. In fact, sync used to be one of those things that was frowned upon in the music industry, is like, selling out. You know what I mean? Like if you did a jingle or something like that, you were, as an artist, you were considered to be an artist that's just like selling out, which is the dumbest thing. Like I don't even understand that. Like how is getting 6 figures for a car commercial as an artist selling out? Like I don't understand it. But it's just one of those things a lot of people don't think about. So I didn't think about it. It wasn't until sophomore year in college, somebody hit me up because I had a MySpace page, and I played keys, so I would have like my music and stuff on MySpace. I used to play for a lot of different groups in and around Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to the Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes. Another Buckeye reached out to me because he was working on music for Sync. And I think he had a publishing deal in place at that point, or he was trying to get one or he had one in place. But he didn't play keys, which goes back to like building your team. He was building his team. He was like, yo, I need a strong key player for my productions. I can handle the drums and the structure and all that. I just need somebody to come over here, lay down some 8 bars, and we're good. So, you know, we'll pick out a Saturday, link up. I'll go to his crib. And, well, before that, we hopped on a call and he was just telling me like, yo, he's like, I don't know if you ever heard of this, but it's called music licensing or sync licensing. Is basically producing music for TV and film. He was just like, nobody has to know you. He was like, you don't have to have like any credits, any experience. Absolutely losing my voice. And he was just like, you know, you make good music, you send it to the briefs, and then if they like it, they'll place it, or you get signed to a library, then eventually it gets placed. And then sometimes you get upfront sync fees. And then the dope part is that you get royalties. So like every time it plays on TV, you get paid. So I was like, oh, bet, like that's dope. So that's how I learned about it. Shout out to my guy, Rob. We're still good friends to this day. I got to catch up with my guy now that I think about it. So somehow we both ended up in Atlanta. And we catch up from from time to time. So, you know, he composed music. He did music supervision for a while as well. So he's the one that like introduced me to the idea. And then from there, I just started doing my own research, took some of his tips and recommendations, and it just decided like, yo, like this is something I want to focus on. I'm gonna just go all in. And that's what I did. So once I really got serious about it, and I got the first placement on NFL Network, then I was just like, okay, I did it once, but let me see if I can do it, if I can 10x it and get 10 placements in a year. That's what originally started the road to 10 placements. As you guys know it, it was just a personal goal of mine, and I just documented it on Instagram. I started posting about it. I think I talked about it on YouTube years ago. Very, very horrible videos, by the way. But yeah, I was just like, let me see if I can get 10. So then I was just talking about it on social media, showing people the process, what I was doing. And then I ended up getting 10 TV placements, and then I haven't turned back since. And then people start asking me a bunch of questions about it. And then that's why you know me now as this guy who's always yapping his mouth about sync every day. Because I love it, man. It's changed my career as a producer. And I know it's helped a lot of my other friends in sync as well. So I think it's just one of the dopest ways to be able to like work anywhere, maintain your privacy, maintain, you know, ownership, have ultimate flexibility, and, you know, make a living doing music. So I love it. That's what started it, man. So let's take a few more questions and then I'm gonna hop off. Shout out to Mike Myers in the building. What's good? Irene says, can we be successful getting placements without being on social media? Absolutely. Absolutely you can. Listen, like, you don't have to be like me and be on social media every day. There's plenty of people, like, you probably walked by them in the grocery store last week, and they probably producing some of the most popular movies and shows you've ever heard of. So yes, absolutely you can. I think it helps. I think it helps to be on social media, but it's not necessary. So that's how you can take on more work by outsourcing a lot of stuff. I'm still working full time and had to start creating at 4 a.m. just to get it in. Facts. I wake up at 4 a.m. now, and I don't even have the day job anymore. But yeah, that 4 a.m. that's a hack. Like, it burns at first, let me tell you, because I was not the morning person. But now that 4 a.m. is crucial, man. It just sets up the day. And you got to do, like we talked about yesterday, like, you got to make sacrifices. If you got to wake up at 4 a.m. to get some work in before you go to work, boom. If you got to stay up later after work, miss out on some sleep to get the work in, that's how you do it. But yes, outsourcing is how, you're able to output more work with the same amount of time that you have. So let's see. Let's take a couple more questions. Rand Legend, member of Team Dope. What's good? Been listening to replays all week. Finally made it live. Let's go. I'm seeing the fire emojis. That means the info is helpful. I love it. I love it. Alexander says, I sell non-exclusive beats. Can I place them for sync as well? No, I would not. I would keep your non-exclusive beats in a separate pot from your sync stuff. I do that personally because it can definitely create confusion and issues, especially with multiple people using those beats. Yeah, I'd definitely say no to that. Create music that you're gonna, specifically use for sync, and then create the music that you're gonna have in your beat stores and things. Excuse me, things like that. So yeah. Yeah, Rainbow says either you make a living with music or something else might as well sell out. Right. Yeah, if sync is selling out, listen, sign me up. I'm sell out. Listen, I don't care what you think. Making money with your music will never be selling out. Man, it's crazy that they used to think that, man. Now it's literally you can ask anybody who has major placements, some of your favorite producers, favorite writers, ask them like, yo, when you look at your royalty check, like what are some of the biggest chunks of income you see? They're going to tell you like it's sync when they get those upfront fees. Like there's an old video clip of Dark Child. He was talking about this AT&T commercial that he did, or AT&T licensed a song that he did for an artist. I want to say, don't hold me to it, I want to say it was Mary J. Blige, but he said he made more money off of the sync fees and royalties from the AT&T commercial than he did off the actual record, from album sales and things like that. So I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. But they'll tell you like, yo, sync is like, that's where it's at for real. So now the dope thing about us being independent is like, yo, we can skip the whole, going through a major artist, and that's one way to do it. That's absolutely one way to do it. You work with major artists, you're exposed through those major publishers. Those major publishers are going to exploit those masters to generate income. Like that's the music business. Like they have to exploit it to make money. So yes, you're absolutely going to see that from that, and that's depending on what your deal looks like, advance and all that stuff, because you got to recoup that stuff. But you can now bypass going through major artists to get to the syncs and just go straight to the syncs as independent producers and artists. And it's that's like super dope. So yeah. Spacious says, how do you stay motivated, a member of Team Dope, during the waiting process? Create, submit, and forget. That's the principle I live by. So I create it, I submit it, and I forget about it. I go back to creating, rinse and repeat. That's how I stay motivated. Because if you stop and you wait and you think like, oh man, I hope I get it, and then you don't get it, you just wasted a bunch of time. So like submit it, boom, all right, that one's done, on to the next. Just keep working, keep your head down, keep working. Next thing you know, placements start rolling in, people start hitting you up. Oh, hey, here's an agreement, or hey, can you send us an invoice, we want to use this, and blah blah blah. Then things start moving, and you'll gain a lot more traction than submitting a few, waiting, and just wondering, you know what I mean? So yeah. Let me see. Let's take like one more question from Instagram. Let's see, something that hasn't been answered. Oh man, y'all dropped a lot of questions. Well, we just talked about motivation. Also, man, I don't know. I don't create based off motivation. I used to, and then I realized if I depended and waited on my motivation or my inspiration, as inconsistent as that can be, my career is going to be inconsistent. So if I want consistent results, I have to be able to create consistently. And the only way to create consistently is by disciplining yourself. Is that right? Disciplining? By having discipline, sitting down and creating, just making yourself create. Whether that's every day, every other day, whatever you got to do, just sit down, tell your brain you're about to create. Get creative and just make that joint create, because motivation and inspiration is overrated if you ask me. That joint have you broke waiting on inspiration to come around to get something done. Because like when a publisher hits you up like, yo, deadline is 2 p.m. today, are you gonna sit and be like, all right, let's see if inspiration falls out of the sky? Like, no, you're about to miss out on a sync because you're waiting on your inspiration to show up. Like, no, I see that brief. Okay, bet. This is what they want. Listen to the references. Go through the references. Blah, blah, blah. This is what they want. Instrumentation, BPM. Bet. Open up the DAW. Start creating. Just like, don't think about it. Just start doing it. So that's what I do. It's just discipline, man. Just showing up every day. No matter what, not waiting. Don't depend on inspiration, man. That joint's flaky sometimes. So that's it. Just to recap. So day 1, we talked about deciding your target genre. Day 2, we talked about deciding your target medium. Day 3, we talked about seeking information. And then today we talked about building your team. If you missed the previous days, they're up on YouTube. You can watch the replays to get those notes. And then the homework for tonight is just start, listen, you can use hashtags on Instagram to find creators. I think Threads has that algorithm thing that people have been posting, like connect me with blah, blah, blah. They have that thing. I don't know. You can try that. I don't know if it works or not. Seems like it does. But use hashtags like hashtag R&B songwriter, hashtag rapper, hashtag, whatever you're looking for, bass player, and you can find the talent on social media. Like, they're everywhere. Go on TikTok, start searching hashtags, searching keywords to find people who excel in areas that you're weak, so that you can make note, like, okay, this is somebody I can reach out to. Or you can do it when you actually need it. But that's how you go out and find talent. Like, I've connected with some writers and artists just from seeing them on social media. It's like, oh, they're fire. Like, that's exactly what I need for this, this sync album that I'm working on. And that's how things happen. So that's what you want to do. And then tomorrow, day 5 is the last day. We're going to talk about executing the plan. So listen, everything that I mentioned, the link is in the description. Make sure you use the limited time Black Friday discount code to get 50% off all my courses for producers at clintproductions.com/courses. And make sure you get on that wait list for the special Black Friday bundle that's dropping on Black Friday. It's going to be packed full of value. I'm going to show you how to implement a lot of the things that we've been talking about, because I literally just don't have enough time to go into detail. Like, we will be here all month live, like a straight month live YouTube stream, trying to break down everything I'm going to break down in this growth pack for you. So make sure you get on that wait list. Link to that is in the description. If you're on Instagram, just comment the word wait list. And that's it, man. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. And remember, you make music, not excuses. Let's